everyone. Welcome to Ya episode 14 with me, Smash Pop.
I'm Jeremy. This is a podcast where Smash Pop and I catch up, hang out, talk to each other, tell each other stories, and share those good vibes.
Correct. Okay, so episode 14, right?
Yeah,
Jeremy?
man.
I don't know what to share in this episode because so much has happened because we haven't been shooting for 2 weeks, right?
It has been 2 weeks. It's been a while.
Yeah, and then in these 2 weeks, almost too many things that happened that I forgot.
I was about to say the same thing. But definitely stuff has happened. What's the first thing that comes to your mind in the most recent thing that has happened?
Money Heist escape game.
Oh, wow. Yes, we did. That was so long ago,
I
though.
think we can talk about that.
Let's
That
talk
one was
about that.
last week.
Last week. So Money Heist Korea launched on Netflix. Then Netflix in Malaysia had an event and we were invited to participate in an escape room style heist event.
Very good description.
Right?
Yeah. So basically, actually where we were? Where were we?
Batai.
Yes, correct. Okay, never mind. Forget about the whatever that happened before Money Heist, okay? So anyway, we arrived at Batai and then it was this bungalow it turned into like a escape room thing.
And
Why?
Here's one before we go any further. The building that we did the escape room thing in? It's this bungalow in Batai. It's like white.
Correct.
It's very nice, very stark, right?
Correct.
So apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but somebody told me, the bungalow where they did the escape room for the Netflix thing? They told me that bungalow used to be the North Korean embassy.
Huh?
It used to be, supposedly. I don't know how true this is because I'm terrible with these things, but
Can Google a bit lah.
we can Google.
But if it is, then it's very apt.
Very cool though, right?
So anyway, what I like about the event is that they actually gave us like a suitcase, like a very solid suitcase. And inside, there's the mask and also the jumpsuit, right?
The jumpsuit.
Yeah, the jumpsuit. And I actually expected the jumpsuit to be like of low quality, like those like raincoat kind of thin plastic
correct.
quality. But it's not. It's almost like those that they are wearing inside the show, the series. And it's like very heavy and thick kind.
It's a proper jumpsuit, the kind that you think can use to fight chemicals like that.
Correct. Like you can wear out, right? People will be like, oh, this one is like official.
It looked good though.
Yeah. So that was like the most exciting thing for me. The rest of the game was just like, just pretend, play game, take picture.
What I thought was really interesting throughout the whole, let's pretend take picture. We went there with a bunch of friends.
Yes.
And the group that we went with were like pure content creators. And what I liked was, even though it was like a heist in theme in terms of like the game, the way we handled ourselves shooting content for that event was actually really like a heist also.
Correct.
Everybody had a role, everybody had a thing that to take care of, and nobody could let the team down. Not everything will fall apart.
Correct. So we actually had this discussion before we go to the event. We were having lunch together and then we were like, since we only have like 45 minutes and we have like 6 people, right? 5,
Yeah.
6. I can't remember.
Five of
people.
us. Yeah.
So why not, right? We divide our responsibilities to each and every person in the group so that we don't do duplicate work.
Yes.
So one would be in charge of like the TikTok dancers. One would be in charge of recording all these random BTS for like mini vlogs. One would be like taking pictures and stuff like that. So I think it was very efficient of us to be doing every single thing that we were supposed to do in the heist activity for like within the 45 to 1 hour. So which was quite amazing.
I thought it was
very
amazing.
impressed.
Like it was like a proper heist. We really went in with
man.
the goal to heist content.
Yeah.
And that's why I think for the first time ever, I have so much content from one event. I don't think I've ever had to a point where I'm done posting already.
It's like there's so much content. I posted 3 things on Instagram. I'm like, still got a lot of things. Like, how never mind lah. Let's just forget about it because there's too much. But we also don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we can't be posting too many of the same kind of posts.
I kind of like how we handled it though, because I have to say it's the first time I have ever separated or delegated or been part of like a content creation crew that way. I've never done it before. So it was truly something like, oh, so interesting. And there's also a part of like, I really hope I don't fuck up because I'm going to let people down. People are going to be angry at me.
Yeah. Also, another nice thing was after the event, we gathered and then everyone was just airdropping like content to each other's phones.
Yes.
That was quite a nice moment. Although, there were some hiccups.
Yeah.
Some people cannot accept
Sorry
files
lah.
because somebody's phone got no storage.
Sorry lah. My fault lah. I know lah. It's me lah. Okay, sorry lah. But if anything, it just proves that we should all just use iPhones from now on.
Yeah, man. Like just airdrop lah, so easy.
Yeah.
And then like photos nice, videos nice.
So pro tip, if you're an aspiring content creator, just get an iPhone. Because all your content creators, even if they're being sponsored by another phone brand, they also use iPhone 1.
And there you go. You just lost all the opportunities to host other phone brand events.
I'm just telling the truth. I'm talking about content creators. I'm not saying like average user, you can choose whatever phone you want to use. Okay? Please hire me. I take it back. Sorry.
Other phones are very good one. Just not for content creation.
Not as Anyways, moving on. Let's
not continue this conversation.
So Money Heist Korea was very good.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, obviously it was done in conjunction with the whole Money Heist Korea being launched on Netflix. You've seen Money Heist Korea.
Yes. Let's talk about the real thing. The show.
The show.
Right?
Yeah.
You haven't seen, right?
I have not touched it, no.
So we briefly talked about it last night,
Yes.
but we can also talk again. So I watched episode 1 of Money Heist Korea, and after the first episode, I don't feel like watching anymore. In fact, I felt that I wasted my time.
Right.
Because although yes, the characters are all different, they are all Koreans now.
So they're like Asian now.
They're like Asians, speaking Korean language, a bit like K-drama in the beginning.
Right.
But the moment the heist starts,
Right.
the moment they go into the building, everything is the same as the Spanish one. Every single scene, frame by frame, scene by scene.
It's almost like they copycatted the previous show.
Correct. It's just copy, paste, change language. So to a point, right, like people who, like us who have already seen the show.
Right.
And watching this is like, why am I watching the same show again?
Like a waste of time.
And also, right, the thing is, when you watch the Spanish version, you were reading the subtitles. Now, you're also reading the subtitles. So even the language is different, but our experience is the same because both shows we are reading subtitles.
Were the lines in the subtitles the same as the Spanish version?
Maybe they just copy-paste from the Spanish version.
For all you know, right?
Yeah. And like I was hoping, like since it takes place in Korea, North Korea, South Korea, then you should add in some Korean elements inside lah. Like now the building, the outlook of the building looks a little bit different lah. Of course, you cannot look like the same building in Spain, right?
Yeah.
The interior is the same. So you have like that big space in the middle, like that lobby area, and then you have like stairs coming down. And then you have like the same, the toilet with the stalls. Basically, it's the same lah.
So
like
they copy the set design lah.
Like the background, but at the basement, the safe, and then like the warehouse at the back or the different entrance, that the police was supposed to break into through, So it's all the same. So after watching episode 1, I know who's who already, like who's Tokyo, who's Rio, who's Nairobi, whatever. I'm done. Like I don't need to watch it anymore.
Because you know everything already.
I know everything already. So even if I watch, I won't feel excited because I know the plot.
Right.
I know every kanchong scene, and I know the outcome of every kanchong scene. In the end, I'm not kanchong anymore.
And this is like because you're such a big fan of the original Spanish version, it must be extra disappointing to you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's just say hypothetically, right? Because you've seen it, you're a fan.
Yep.
But let's say if you were somebody who has never seen Money Heist before, and you had to recommend them to watch one of these Money Heists because they're essentially the same show, would you push them towards original Spanish, or would the Korean one be visually appealing or interesting enough for them to just like skip the Spanish, just watch the Korean based on your one episode?
I feel that the Spanish one is more legit because it's not that it's the original one. It's because the Korea one, right? You can feel that it's a little bit CGI.
Okay.
Yeah, it's faker. It's less budget.
Oh.
Like not less budget. I don't know whether CGI is more expensive or not lah. But
not practical. No practical effects lah.
It got lah. But you can see some scenes are like fake.
So not so well done.
Not so well done. Maybe the Spain one also CGI, but it was realistic.
Like you didn't realize.
Believe.
Right.
Correct. Like that lor.
Okay, so watch the Spanish version is what you're saying?
Yes.
Money Heist Korea.
So what else do you remember in the past 2 weeks?
I really don't remember anything.
Me too.
The week just passed by in a blur. Like
okay now, you know what? Let's just talk about the most recent thing. We just came back from the preview of the Tsutaya Bookstore in Pavilion Bukit Jalil.
We literally just walked out of the bookstore,
And then came into the room and recorded this podcast.
which is the freshest thing in my head right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the date today is 5th of July.
Yes.
They are not open yet. They are only opening to the public in 2 days, which is 7th July. And we were invited to preview the place lah. And what do you think of the place?
I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was beautiful. I'm a big fan of bookstores, and like bookstores that are done well always like strike a very happy chord with me. So like, I like how this felt very classy, very well organized, and a slice of like Japan vibes.
Correct.
So very nice. I was very impressed.
To me, I felt the place is very comfortable to be in because like the lighting is not too bright. And then they also have like cafe that serves really good coffee. Also, like the little Japan vibe is more prominent when you can hear the staff talking Japanese. Speaking
Right.
Japanese to each other.
Right.
Speaking Japanese to like Japanese customers.
But do you think like this is just because it's a preview, they don't have enough Malaysian staff yet?
Maybe.
So they flew in some Japanese staff to handle it?
I think because some senior staff need to come here and train the local staff.
Yes.
So the senior staffs are still here until the opening maybe. So like that, but at least we can enjoy that little bit of Japan vibe for now in this bookstore.
And to give you like an idea of just the visual of the place, when you walk in, like all the wood there is that dark brown, the dark wood, is not bright like Muji. Like Muji is like a lighter wood. It's like dark. The lights are like a
Downlight.
Down lights, yellow lights, a bit like a whiskey bar. We talked about it earlier on. And when you're there, naturally you will want to be quiet because of just the way it's laid out. Like you don't imagine yourself like talking loudly, don't you?
We were quite loud lah.
I mean, you and me, different story lah. I think
okay.
we were the problem. They nearly kicked us out.
Correct.
But I think for the most people,
The moment you step in, suddenly you become like atas. Suddenly it's like, I would like to drink some tea and read some books.
and it's not only books that they sell there, right? So they are branding it as a bit of a lifestyle store.
Yeah. So they actually have like lifestyle items, stationery items. They even have like photographer features from Japan. You can buy, photos from the photographer. You can buy like lifestyle items like handbags, like day-to-day homewares, including knives.
Knives. I saw the knife, so pretty.
Yeah.
Like katana, but
And
like
then-
kitchen knife.
And then what caught my attention was this watch.
Oh,
This watch, according to them, it's only being sold in the Tsutaya bookstore. And the watch face is actually quite interesting because it's like letters and it only tells the time using words.
and it's not even just like spelled out word. It'll actually say 2:15, and that's the time.
And then you have to think like 2:15 is what? Oh, 2:15, like that.
Yeah. So it's quite a nice thing. And it's exclusively only in Tsutaya, which is interesting because they have a whole bunch of products there that are exclusive only to the bookstore. Stuff like certain bags and all that. What I also thought was really cool was that they highlighted some local artists and products as well. And like based on the tour that I got, I was told that the purchasing team were very specific and very calculated in how they curated the products that they were going to showcase and highlight within the store.
Okay.
So like they really went all out. So like there were these these paper cut out like cards, like in the shape of like just cut out cards, and they look so fancy. Apparently they're local, and I was like, I've never even heard of this before. So it was just very interesting. A whole bunch of things that you've never seen before that you'd be surprised came from us.
So can say that by going to this bookstore, we will be able to be exposed with some local artists or local merchants that are not very mainstream.
Yeah. And I think it works, right? Because I think like generally nowadays people, when it comes to just pure books, I don't know if people read, I don't think the people reading books are increasing, if anything, they're diminishing.
Correct.
And I think with the rise of like ebooks and like PDFs and all that people download, right? Like physical books also not so popular. But I like how like Tsutaya has, obviously their main business is to sell books and they sell a little bit of stationery, but they've curated everything to a little bit more of like a lifestyle, artisanal, like almost like you go in there and you get to experience a little bit more culture in terms of like, this is cool. Like this is something you may not have known existed. Or we like, here is a pen taken to like the next level enjoy this pen.
Yeah, but at the same time, for people like me who cannot afford things, things in the bookshop is actually kind of pricey lah. Huh? Like I want to buy one book and then I'm like, wow, this book also like this price ah. Cannot lah, I cannot. Like and then there was this one bookmark. Do you see the bookmark from the stationery side?
I saw bookmarks, but I don't know which bookmark you're talking about.
They have this shelf that has bookmarks of like black and white color, but every bookmark is actually the map of different cities.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's very nice. So I picked out one which is in white, but then the whole bookmark was actually like the map of like the New York City.
Wow.
It's almost like the subway train line kind of design. And I'm like, okay lah, I should buy this as a souvenir,
Right.
you know, from this store. And then when I turn around, I look at the price, 120 ringgit.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I cannot, I'm like, okay lah, put that. Cannot.
Because like, when was the last time you used the bookmark, right?
Exactly.
The 4 pages, right?
I mean, if it's 20 ringgit, I will still buy it.
Yeah.
But 120, cannot.
Yeah, it's got that kind of price point.
Huh.
Not affordable, not like, it's not.
Like there was this kids book, the one that we saw.
Oh, yes.
The one that talks about what happens after death.
You die, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a drawing, it's an illustration book. And it's a very thin one with hardcover. And I wanted to buy that, but it's 66 ringgit for a very thin kids book with drawings.
But it was a very unique book though.
It's very unique. But at the same time, it's not wrapped. Means you can just go there and read everything and don't buy.
Yes.
You can just bring the book to the cafe, order coffee, and then read the whole book, drink coffee, and then go home.
Spoken like a true Malaysian.
That is why Book Access wraps all their books. Because they don't want people to just go in, read book, and then go home. But at the same time, if you don't let people read the book, people don't know whether it's good or not.
Yeah.
So they also won't buy.
Correct. Now, speaking of the cafe,
Ah.
there's a cafe in Tsutaya. I was very impressed by it.
Why?
Because I thought the coffee was delicious, man.
Agree.
Like, don't need to go to fancy hipster Instagrammable cafe.
Yeah.
Just go to Tsutaya and drink their coffee.
Yeah, but at the same time, the coffee also quite expensive.
How much is the coffee? I didn't realize.
The milk one was 15, 16.
Okay. Which isn't
can't
that
remember.
different
Around there
from
Like some nice cafes out
correct,
there.
right?
Yeah lor. But it would be nicer if they serve the coffee in like glass cups, not paper cup.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they're not that kind of cafe lah.
Yeah lah.
But the quality of the coffee was great. And they also had like this dorayaki set where you got to order like one like dorayaki. If you don't know what that is,
With coffee?
That's the one that Doraemon always eats.
Correct.
And it was like, I really liked it. I thought it was very delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like a little tea time thing that you can enjoy.
Yeah. So overall, Tsutaya Books, on a scale of 1 to 10, whether it's worth visiting or not, how much would you rate?
I would say it's worth visiting. Yeah, I'll probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. How about the photography potential? Like, obviously, we go places and take pictures, right? In terms of like taking photos there.
I don't prefer taking pictures indoor without natural lighting. So I will give it like a 4.5 to 5.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think everybody should just check it out anyways. If anything, like bookstores in general, I feel like we should support.
Yeah.
Like, we don't read enough books.
Correct.
And
I mean, at least if you just hold book, the picture also look like more cultured, right?
then you wear glasses, you look smarter too. Smart glasses with books. Hold
correct.
coffee in hand, done already.
Perfect already.
Your Tinder profile sure flying off the shelf.
Bookworm starter pack. I just realized that we can see a reflection from the glass behind the camera.
Doesn't always happen though, right?
I don't know why. Why only now I realize? Because I always cannot see the screen on the camera because the lens is blocking.
Right.
So now I'm like, I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
I mean-
now that you mentioned, I can't stop looking at myself too.
Yeah.
The lens is there, by the way. So people are going to be like, why the fl- I looking the other side?
Hi, yeah, nobody watch our YouTube also.
Oh, that's because the audio is much better.
Correct.
Okay, anyways. So yeah, okay, so we went to Tsutaya. That was really cool. What else have we done?
I bought a new watch.
Yes, we.
I mean, do you want to talk about the watch or no need?
I think we should lah. I think we should because like, what is an episode of the podcast without Jason buying a watch every time we do one? The running joke right now is Jason buys a watch every month, and at first it was a joke, but actually if you calculate, it's actually correct. He really has bought a watch every month.
Correct. I mean, for the past
6 months.
Few months. Few months. Yeah. So basically, I bought a Seiko 5 GMT. It's also the very first GMT watch under the Seiko 5 series. And I think it looks really nice. I love the blue bezel. It actually comes in like 3 different color themes. Variants. Blue dial with blue bezel, orange dial with grey bezel, and a black dial with black grey bezel.
Wow, the fact that you remember all of that means you've spent a lot of time reading the brochure.
No, I set the picture as wallpaper. Every day I see. So basically, I bought it just a few days ago, and I actually paid like deposit from the store in Pyramid, the Seiko city chain, and then I was very happy because why? Because the moment I called, there was one day I called Mid Valley, the Seiko Mid Valley, and they said, "Oh, you pre-order? No more, Dilo. No, new call. Only got one more model left which is the black one You or not?" Then I said, "I don't want. I want the blue one." They said, "Oh, sorry, cannot help you." Then I very sad.
Okay.
Then I end the call.
Right.
And then I call Seiko Mid Valley Pyramid, and then they say, "Oh, this one can, but we haven't started taking pre-orders yet."
Wow, what a very big difference from
Exactly.
like pre-order filled up to actually we haven't started yet. Come again later.
Correct. And then the guy was like, "You wait lah. If we open for pre-order, we'll let you know."
Okay.
Then I just waited like don't know how many days.
How long
many
is it before they got back to you for the pre-order?
1 week plus.
Okay, cool. Not too long away.
Yeah, and then one day they just WhatsApp me and they say, "Hey, can pre-order already?" Then I said, "Okay, give me your bank account now. I transfer." So they give me like the city chain bank account, then I transfer like an amount, few $100, and I just waited lor. And then on the 1st of July, I got the WhatsApp in the morning, and they said, "Bro, you can collect already your watch." And I'm like, "Oh my god, okay, I go collect today." Like that.
How much is the watch?
The watch RRP is 2155, but got 10% discount, so it's like 1950.
Nice.
I would say it's a very good deal for a GMT watch lah.
Okay, so for those of you who are not watch fans and you don't know what a GMT is, what is a GMT?
GMT means Greenwich Mean Time, correct?
Yes.
I don't know, I never studied one. So anyway, GMT I think is a feature whereby the watch has an extra hand for you to see the time of another time zone.
So a GMT watch basically allows you to keep track of 2 time zones,
Correct.
which is something we take for granted because we have phones and you can have like 5
Or 10.
or 10 on the screen. But before phones were around, people used to track time with the watch.
Correct. People also used to look at the time from the watch.
Yes. Now it's just
But now it's just for nice.
jewelry.
So that's my experience in buying a new watch.
Very nice, man. So like this watch, tell us a bit about the watch lah, since we're already here. Like mini watch review.
Mini watch review. It has a 42.5 mm dial. It's called dial, right? Diameter, yes. And it's got quite short lugs. So it doesn't look very big on the wrist. And then I like how the bezel is like clear crystal kind, whereby when you shine it on the light, you can suddenly see like the other half is like light blue, the other half is like dark blue.
Got a little bit like shadow play going for it. It's very pretty.
Yeah, correct. And then the bracelet is like the Jubilee bracelet. And I personally is not a fan of Jubilee bracelet because it looks kind of old. It's like uncle watch,
Right.
But I think it's quite okay lah because it's a new watch. So I'm like, okay, maybe next month I'll be like, change strap.
Seems like it will happen.
Yeah, eventually lah. So like that lor. So that's the watch that I bought.
Very nice, man. Very, very nice. So we still have to get into like how you're gonna use the GMT hand because you haven't taught me that yet.
Oh yeah. So you want me to teach you now?
Yeah. Should we?
Okay, briefly lah, Okay, so like this. To use the GMT feature, basically you turn, you pull out to the first step. Where the first step is when you set the clock, the date, right?
Yeah.
So when you when you turn down, you are changing the date. When you turn up, you're moving the GMT hand.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, the time now is 6 p.m. Right? And then you want to track, say, Bangkok time. Bangkok is 1 hour ahead.
Yeah.
So you just turn the GMT hand to 7 p.m. And then that's it. So now you get to track Bangkok time as and when the hand moves lah.
So basically, instead of reading the normal hand, you want to get the time of the zone that you're tracking. You just read the red hand as the hour hand for the other place.
Correct, because the minute hand will always be the same for all time zones.
Correct.
It's just the hour change, right? Then so this is not a true GMT, means it's not so convenient when you go overseas. Because then, with this, they call it the office GMT. It's a term I learned from YouTube. They call it the office GMT, whereby office GMT means that you are sitting in the office, but you want to see the time zone of another country.
Right.
So you see this watch.
Yeah.
Right. But this watch, if you really want to use it when you travel, so when you say go to Bangkok now, right, you need to set the main hour and minute to the Bangkok time. And then the GMT time set to the local, your home time, which is Malaysia.
Right. So the main hands will always be set to where you are at.
Correct.
Okay.
Your current location.
Right.
The GMT is the time of where you want to keep track.
Okay.
Like that lor. So that's how the office GMT watch works.
Interesting. Wow. Look at you, the GMT, I have to say. And I think like out of all the different types of like watches, the tool watches we call them, the most practical ones that we will actually really use, I think probably is the GMT. Like divers, as pretty as they are, like if you don't dive,
Like nobody dives.
like, you know.
Okay lah, like if you go snorkeling.
But even then you'll be like, why am I taking my dive watch down there? You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Just
so-
wear a G-Shock.
So like a GMT is very practical in that. I think out of all in terms of like chrono and all that also, I think like the GMT is the one that like most people will use at some point if they want to use it.
You can use it every day by just setting it to track a time zone of a certain country.
Yeah.
You know, like just set it to track US or London or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
Just for the fun of it.
Correct. I like good stuff, man. I really like this. Now we got Seiko 5 gang.
Yeah, man.
Huh?
So, very similar.
It's basically the same thing except no GMT hand.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
huh? Yeah, because it's Seiko 5.
Yeah,
Right?
and also the bezel is different. You have a 24-hour bezel.
So your bezel is
unidirectional.
This side or this side?
It's a bit stiff, but yeah.
Oh, yours got sound. You try mine?
No sound. No sound.
Yeah, mine is smooth one.
Wow, is it? Wow, it rotates two ways.
But I don't like. I want the sound. I want the ta 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 ta.
Yeah lah, it loses.
So this one is like I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Like the bezel doesn't act like a bezel.
Here's a little bezel ASMR. Well, this is a fun episode of ASMR,
Right?
Well, yes. So that's that. What else?
Okay, so what are you looking forward to this upcoming few days?
On a personal note, I will be drinking on Friday.
Which I might be joining.
Which you are always invited for the record. And okay, so like I believe that there is a bit of a flow in life sometimes, right? Like there is like always like a season to, like maybe you're in a season where you can never go out or whatever, or you're like in a season where you have to a lot of work. I feel like the past few weeks I've been in a season where I've been in, like my friends are constantly looking for me, or I have the opportunity or even the motivation to like do a little bit more like hanging out and socializing and drinking. And this is a very rare season for me. Because very rarely am I, and I've been doing this for like 2-3 weeks already, like this level of like, yeah, let's go out, let's do this. Normally I'm very like, why don't I just stay home and play games? You all call me later lah when you all are done, right? And so because I know this is happening, I'm just riding this wave and I'm just going along with it. I'm like, you know what, if I feel it, I've got the opportunity, the people that I'm asking if they want to drink, so everything just seems to flow together. Like, don't doubt it, just go with it.
Correct. It's like you have started the socializing engine.
Yeah.
So now the wheel is still spinning. So
Yeah.
you're just continuing that activity, right?
Correct.
It's quite nice because I totally understand what you mean. Like sometimes it's not just because of activities lah. So maybe sometimes you just suddenly feel like you want to eat dessert, ice cream, right?
Yeah.
And then you will be like eating ice creams for quite a few times in that 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you're like, now on this, I'm on this ice cream flow wave
Kick 来了.
Kick 来了, you know? And it's like, oh, so then you will ask your friends like, hey, want to go eat ice cream or not? Hey, got new ice cream place open, you go or not? I think it's like that. Lor.
And then your friends agree, lagi motivated to go,
Then
right?
you cannot stop one. Until one day, right, maybe another interest comes in.
Yeah.
Or a change of environment or whatever. And then this,
Like maybe
this whole thing will
work
end.
comes in, right? And then you gotta like start turning people down or whatever.
Or maybe you get pregnant, like some of our friends, suddenly pregnant and then cannot drink, cannot vape, like that.
You're so sad.
Oh, Hannah?
Wow.
I think we can publicly announce because she already announced
Correct.
Yeah. So anyway, if you don't know Hannah is pregnant. If you know Hannah is pregnant. Whatever it is, Hannah is pregnant.
Wow, Hannah, you just got a shout out for no reason. Well done, Hannah. I hope this makes up for your no drinking and partying for the next 2 years of your life.
And I think we are at the end of our episode. Because I go drink
Yeah.
So we just end the episode low.
I think it works.
Okay. Thanks for listening to Yeah with me, Smash Pop.
I'm Jeremy.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, why? Why you haven't subscribed? Give me 10 reasons why you cannot subscribe.
If you've already subscribed, tell your friends, your family members to subscribe if they like, talking about content creation or entertainment, maybe even watches.
Definitely watches. Okay, see you guys. Bye.